Roy Keane told Man United to sign 2 players and snub 1. They didn't listen, and he was right. Man United have put plans in place to strengthen key areas of the squad in this summer's transfer window. Saturday's FA Cup final at Wembley will mark the end of several Manchester United players' careers at Old Trafford, with a summer of change and transformation brewing. United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe is planning to roll up his sleeves and make long overdue changes to the landscape of the squad. As reported by the Manchester Evening News in February, it is understood that player sales could reach double figures. All but 4 players within the squad are available to leave the club if anyone comes knocking with an attractive offer, highlighting the size of the rebuild that could take place. United have identified 3 positions they want to strengthen as a minimum, but further additions beyond filling those particular blocks cannot be discounted. Among the areas of the team that United have identified to add fresh blood to our central midfield and attack. United are crying out for a replacement for Casemiro, who can slot straight into the team and produce some much-needed aggression and control in the engine room. Manager Erik ten Hag has overseen the additions of a handful of midfielders since taking charge of United 2 years ago, including Mason Mount. The midfielder joined United from Chelsea last summer for a fee that could eventually be worth £60 million. Mount's debut season at Old Trafford has been plagued by injuries, restricting him to just 19 appearances in all competitions. He has started just 1 Premier League fixture since October 7th. Over a month before United wrapped up a deal for the midfielder, former Reds skipper Roy Keane expressed concerns that Mount was not the addition United needed, citing his dip in form as one of the main reasons. "I wouldn't be so sure about Mount," Keane feared, speaking to Sky Sports in May last year. "They're going to be linked with lots of players, but the one that would excite you is Harry Kane. Mount has just gone off the boil a little, but I know he bounced back and he's got quality. I was raving about him a few years ago, but he's just gone missing the last year. A few injuries, the fact he can't get in a bad Chelsea team. I wouldn't be hanging my hat too much on him in terms of improving United and closing the gap. He's a good player, but would he improve Man United? I'm not so sure." Nobody could have predicted the injury complications that Mount has encountered this season. He has been desperately unlucky, and United will be desperate to see a better version of him next term. However, when you take into account the sharp rise of Kobbie Mainoo and the fact United plan to sign another midfielder this summer, it is hard to envision Mount being a regular starter. It is understood United will target a long-term replacement for Casemiro in the defensive midfield berth. Declan Rice, who was a long-term target of United's, would have been the ideal candidate to fill that particular void, and Keane name-checked him last year. The Sky Sports pundit also said United should have gone all out to sign Harry Kane. "I think Rice would be a decent signing, but in terms of the excitement and the goal-scoring, you'd go all out for Kane," he said. But can you see Spurs selling him to Man United? Very, very difficult. Tottenham Hotspur, of course, did not entertain the idea of selling Kane to a Premier League counterpart, granting him a move to Bayern Munich instead. United were forced to look elsewhere for a striker and signed Rasmus Højlund from Atalanta. Despite scoring a respectable 16 goals this season, United are planning to draft in another striker this summer to provide some healthy competition for the Dane. They are, however, unlikely to bring someone in the same category as Kane. Kane has excelled in his maiden season at Bayern, scoring 44 goals in just 45 appearances. He also reached double figures for assists, creating 12 goals. 5 players Manchester United are tipped to sign in Sir Jim Ratcliffe's first transfer window. Man United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be keen to put his own stamp on the club with the summer transfer window just around the corner. Manchester United's summer promises to be a busy one, as INEOS will be judged for the first time on their impact at the club. To this point, judgment has been reserved with United outside of a transfer window, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe has had limited time to implement any form of change at the club. However, the close season presents Ratcliffe with an opportunity to put his own stamp on the club. His first decision will be to declare whether or not he will back Erik ten Hag to mastermind yet another rebuild at Old Trafford. If he does not, then a manager will need to be appointed quickly to ensure a seamless transition into the summer transfer window. Once the managerial saga is concluded, the task will turn to adding players to a squad that has underperformed drastically this season. Men Sport understands the Reds are looking to add a centre-back, central midfielder, and centre-forward to their squad, and just 4 players, Andre Onana, Rasmus Højlund, Kobbie Mainoo, and Alejandro Garnacho, are immune from being sold. The transfer window officially opens on June 14th, but already the rumours are swirling around as clubs look to complete their business early before the European Championships and Copa America launch into full swing. With United desperate to add to their team before the new season gets underway in August, the Manchester Evening News has taken a closer look at 5 players who are being tipped with a switch to Old Trafford. According to bookmakers Bet365, Olise has been heavily linked with a switch to United after a brilliant campaign at Selhurst Park, which was cut short due to injuries. His boyhood allegiances to the Reds could swing him towards a move to Old Trafford, and the odds suggest the Northwest is his most likely destination. United are outsiders to add Neto to their squad, who could be considered an alternative to Olise if he was to remain at Palace or move elsewhere. Like Olise, Neto has suffered with injuries this season, but has still managed a good campaign. Manchester City are currently the favourites to complete a deal. Napoli's president Aurelio De Laurentiis has made it known that Osimhen will be off in the summer, but his destination is unknown. United have considered a move for the Nigerian striker previously, but they are outsiders to add him to their strike force, with PSG the current favourites. Since his summer arrival from Coventry City, Gyökeres has enjoyed the season of his career to date, with 43 goals in 49 appearances. Ruben Amorim will be keen to keep hold of his man, and has the leverage to do that with another 4 years left on his contract. This means the Swede is currently back to remain in Portugal, but United have an outside chance of landing him. Reports have suggested that the Merseyside club are expecting to lose their centre-back in the summer, with clubs circling and their financial situation still not fully under control. United will look to benefit by snapping him up at a cut price, and this appears certain looking at the latest markets. Michael Olise, Jerry Branthwaite, Man United first summer transfers decided in £135 million verdict. Manchester United are set for a tough summer transfer window without European football, but will still be expected to splash the cash. Manchester United have one big decision to make before making calls on transfer targets. Erik ten Hag oversaw the club's worst ever Premier League finish, and failure to win the FA Cup will leave United without European football next season. Men Sport understands that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is not totally sold on the Dutchman being his long-term coach, and will make a call on his future before long. That's because transfer targets will need to be identified ahead of what could now be a tough summer, and whoever sits in the dugout will have influence over the club's pulling power. United are expected to offload a number of players this summer, with only 4 players, Rasmus Højlund, Alejandro Garnacho, Kobbie Mainoo, and Andre Onana, exempt from sales. Raphael Varane and Anthony Martial will leave when their contracts expire, with Casemiro also tipped to depart. Meanwhile, United will look for 2 centre-backs this summer, as well as potentially a central midfielder and attacker. Some areas need prioritising over others, and Men Sports United writers have had their say on who should be signed first. Isaac Johnson. Centre-back has to be the priority this window, and United have already set sights on Jerry Branthwaite of Everton and Bayer Leverkusen invincible Edmund Tapsoba. The latter will be harder to sign, whereas United can capitalise on Everton's tight financial situation. The Toffees may look to offload players before June 30th in order to comply with Premier League spending rules within the current 3-year cycle. Branthwaite could be one to go to ease the cash burden, albeit an England squad inclusion for Euro 2024 could delay matters. Under the previous regime, negotiations for new United signings notoriously dragged out. Ratcliffe can show that it is indeed a new era at Old Trafford by acting quickly and securing Branthwaite before the start of Euro 2024 on June 14th.